All right, it's been a week since we started doing the finishing work. I have to show you what's going on. There's been so much progress. Let's go check it out. So kitchens, bathroom areas, the critical areas to get it started first. Next guys to come in will be the millwork guys. As part of getting this area finished, you also want to get it protected. And for hardwood floor areas, it's good to lay down the paper. On top of that, add some kind of a hardwood sheet so that in case you have tools dropping on the floor, it won't damage through the hardwood. Moving on to the upper floors, you'll see how we have the leveling done on the entire upper floor. The spray foam here is put in place as a dam, so the leveling mix doesn't spill over. But let's check out the flooring. So you see the spray foam has also been sprayed on the edges of the wall so that the leveling mix doesn't spill into the cracks over there where it's not necessary. But also take note that the entire floor was leveled using self-leveling mix, and they also identified the high and low points with lasers. So by having inscriptions on the floor where to add more, and in the end, leveling it off like this gives us an awesome base to work with. When it comes to hardwood flooring, using the wider planks is actually quite crucial to have this area as level as possible. Another reason we do leveling when it comes to doing hardwood flooring is to adjust the heights when it comes to hardwood floor areas meeting the tiled surfaces of the washroom areas, for example. So check this out. By leveling the floor in this room, we have created a perfectly flush transition between the tile and the hardwood floor. No need to put any T-caps, no need to have a 1/4 or even a ½ inch drop. Sometimes the tile can create an extra height that's undesirable, but as usual, the washroom areas will go first, they take priority. So whatever tile heights created from the washrooms, you need to adjust. And by using a floor leveling mix throughout the areas, it's going to fix that problem for you. And look at this, perfectly level transition from the hardwood floor to the tile. Anytime you're building a house in Vancouver, you gotta be aware of the temperatures in which you're building in. For example, right now we're in the finished stage of the house. It's the middle of January, outside we have some freezing temperatures. So it's good to always have the heat on, especially at this stage of construction, making sure that the interior spaces are warm enough to not let the materials expand or shrink too much. You wanna avoid all that cracking, right? Also, now that we're approaching the time to install the hardwood flooring, it's good to have the materials delivered to the site so you can let it acclimate in the house. Meaning, you want the materials to dry up whatever moisture content that's already embedded inside the wood. So letting it sit for about 3-4 days is good practice. It's even better to have all the boxes open so that the airflow can properly reach the materials. So you don't want to install this before that's been done because you run into problems with cupping, buckling, and shrinking and gapping once the floor is installed. So you don't want to go back and fix those mistakes because it'll plague your entire floor area. One very important thing to keep in mind is when your project needs a sump pump, that you always have one ready with preferably with a float switch. So that means you don't have to keep coming back and checking on it. It's all automatic. We've reached a stage of construction now that we can permanently install the sump pump system. Now what we have here is we have a duplex system that consists of 2 sump pumps, so you're not always putting the stress on one. They have an alternating setup where one works the first time and the second pump kicks in the second time. It's all controlled by a control panel inside the garage. So here's the brains of the sump pump system. Everything's controlled here. This is where the pumps know when to alternate. It's got the alarm setup as well, so it can let you know when there's problems. It also can be hooked up to your house alarm system so that you have a bit more of a visual and audio control from inside the house. But here it is. This is a nice sophisticated system. I really enjoy working with this one. So in the garage, we have this new garage door installed. It's a roller type system. It's a little bit different from the traditional ones. This one does not require the use of tracks. Now, if you see the roof line in this garage, this is where you don't want to have the tracks installed. See, right now you have a completely open ceiling area. I mean, they have the option of putting whatever kind of a storage components on top, maybe even like a little platform in the future, but check it out. Nice and sleek system, no need for any extra hardware. And I'll open the door for you to show you how smooth it runs. One of the great features about this is the metal comes pre-finished. There's no need to paint over top of this later on. So you can choose from an array of colors to match your siding and your finishes. but this color will be much better than buying a door where you need to paint over and over again. And just before we wrap up this video, I just want to show you the progress on the outside. Check out all the panels that have been installed. These are all metal panels. Right, look at the nice seams. This will all be capped off with the cap flashing. On the inside, we're going to have a tile that's going to be installed on pedestals. That's coming up next, actually, for the roof level. And then check out that wall over there. The beautiful hemlock that's installed. These are little details that make the house outstanding. Look at that. Beautifully mitered corners. Can't wait to see this wood when it's all nice and stained and when the cap flashings are installed over top to finish it off. Yeah, so I couldn't help but to squeeze in this video. There's so many cool things happening now. The house is coming along great. We'll come back in about a week's time and see what progress we have.